Hi, I'm Charlene Chamberlain, and this is Front Row. My guest today is John Kelsey. John is a musician and an inventor, and we are visiting with him today in his home studio. John creates circuit-bent instruments from found objects and toys. Hi, John. Welcome to Front Row. Thanks for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. We're so excited. We've wanted to get together with you for so long, and we're so happy to be here in your studio. And finally, we're going to see exactly how you do this stuff. So why don't you talk about your inspiration, why you do this?
Well, I grew up with traditional music. I took piano lessons, guitar, and eventually got to a point where I got bored and I thought there might be something else out there, and I came across circuit bending, which is basically taking things that are electronic that make sound, like toys or keyboards, what have you, and just crossing circuits and making them do all kinds of glitchy things and basically creating your own instrument out of something that somebody already created.
Right, and then you're making these crazy, interesting sounds that nobody else has, too.
Right, so it's like completely original, and with circuit bending, it's oftentimes difficult to get the same thing to happen twice, so it's completely unpredictable, and it's a lot of fun.
So let's look at some of the toys. What's your favorite one?
Well, I got a couple things. There are things that are circuit bent, things that are modified. I think the musical elephant keyboard is probably my favorite.
And that would be maybe a toy that a 4-year-old might have,
Yeah, 4,
maybe?
yeah. No, it's
And how old are you?
Not 4. But this one is a little Radio Shack old toy. Usually the older the toy, the better, because the circuits are often larger.
Okay.
So it's easier to work with. But he's got some touch sensor kind of things on it. Yes, that's just normal. And then you put that on. It has its own little drum beat, which I can speed up.
Oh my gosh.
Slow down. Yeah. This one sounds like screaming, if you get it right.
I love it. Oh, like monster screaming.
Yes.
That's pretty cool. How long did it take you to modify that?
Well, it's pretty easy to get started. A lot of stuff in the circuits are like touch sensitive, so you really just start by running your hands over the circuit and find stuff like that. And but all said and done, maybe like 5 to 8 hours, somewhere in there.
So I guess that maybe the larger the instrument, the more complex it is to really get in there and work on it. I think earlier today you showed me something that was a work in progress.
Yeah, this is.
Can we look at this?
I haven't really gotten started anything except for sort of probing it, but this is a talking computron.
I remember that. Oh, there it is.
There it goes.
It's talking now.
And you can see the circuit in here, and you just kind of get started by touching things.
Choose an activity.
I know we had something cool going on earlier.
Choose an activity.
Ooh.
Please choose an activity. Please choose an activity.
Yeah, I know there's some sweet spots, I just can't find them.
Please choose an activity. Please choose an activity.
Oh.
Please choose an activity. Please choose an activity. Please choose an activity.
You're going to have to edit this
Please
one.
choose an activity. Please choose an activity.
Now, are you holding something down
There we
here
go.
on this? Ooh. Oh,
Now I can change the speed.
sounds like an alien.
Please choose
So
an activity.
if I poke around and find those 2 points that made that happen, I can then throw like a knob on it to change the speed,
Okay.
or like with this here, this was a pretty versatile piece.
And this is just a little plastic toy,
Yeah, this
guitar,
is
battery
another
operated?
Yeah, another great one from Radio Shack, another old piece. And this I was able to put photoresistors in, so...
Oh. I love it. That's great. What else does that do?
I've got a sustain on here to make the notes longer. If you want to bypass the photoresistors, you can use a knob.
Wow.
And these are all touch sensors. Yeah. Oh, that's loud.
Ooh, that's cool. Now, to do that, you had to take this all apart, right?
Right.
In the back.
Yeah, I opened it up. Sometimes I take a photo of the circuit and I'll print it out and just take like pencil and sort of draw points and
Oh, wow.
get an idea of how I'm going to connect everything, because there's a lot of, you're kind of searching for treasure in a way, because you're just trying every little soldering point on the circuit.
Like every little node or dot that's in there, right? And are you connecting two of them together to make that sound?
Yeah, a lot of times you find like what they call the clock. There's a circuit in there that basically keeps the speed of things, and you can change that, like with this one.
And this is a digital percussion tool.
Yeah, digital.
A toy.
Digital percussion. But I can slow it down, speed it up. This also has touch points. You can speed it up with your hands.
Wow.
Slow it down.
That was almost the Clash beats down there. Almost.
Nice. It has like a real kind of distorted
It
sound.
does. I like it.
Yeah, so there's all different kinds of things you can do. It's just finding the different circuits. Some do things which are called like a glitch, which mostly you find in keyboards, and it's this type of thing that basically there's no real theory to it, and I've read books and they just can't figure out why it works this way, but you connect two circuits and the electricity is supposed to run one direction through the thing, but it just starts going everywhere.
So it causes chaos.
Yeah, and
right.
the circuit starts glitching out, and it'll make just brand new music. It can compose its own sort of song without being there previously.
And John, you do record some of these things,
Yeah.
right, that you create?
Mm-hmm.
Do you play live?
I do play live. I don't often use my circuit bent instruments in my live performances, but I will use them in recordings for like little fills or intros and that sort of thing. I have played with this a bunch of times. This technically isn't circuit bent. This is just
Modified?
yeah, it's a
Okay.
modified instrument.
Well, can we get a shot of this? This is pretty amazing. Okay,
This
so
is-
explain, what is this? This is a keyboard to...
Yeah, this is a Commodore 64, so
yeah,
this is actually...
I remember those.
It's got the computer chip and all that, but this guy made this cartridge for it that turns it into a synthesizer, and then what I did was just added some modifications, like threw in a delay pedal built into it with a trigger on it. Actually, turn that on. So you can hit the trigger here and mess with the delay. And then I added this
Very
guitar here
synth,
on neck.
Very synth. Yeah, and,
The-
and is that a guitar neck from a toy?
Yeah.
Another toy,
This
right?
changes the octaves.
I love it.
Yeah.
Play some more.
All right.
See what else it does.
Sure. You can pitch bend.
Great. So synthy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very analog.
Love it. Can you get a bassy sound? Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. Yeah, it's almost like
I think that's
like
what
a
I
mini
like.
Moog there.
Exactly. Yeah. It's. I guess technically it's an analog synthesizer, basically. So
Yeah,
it gives you a
that's-
nice warm tone.
Does that do anything? The restore button?
Actually, there's instructions that go with it. There are a ton of key commands to edit the sound wave, basically.
Oh my gosh, that's
So it's a lot to kind of memorize.
sure.
But it's got all kinds of different sounds.
Very pretty.
You do like a little kind of Steve Miller band.
Okay, let's hear.
you
Yeah.
know?
Time keeps on slipping, right?
Yeah.
Wow. I love it. That sounds very familiar to me.
Yeah,
That's not what they use, though.
No, I'm sure they use some kind of synthesizer
Yeah.
with a delay, but yeah, I love this guy.
When did you modify that?
that
new or
no, it's old, but there are things that I've added to it as time goes on.
Right.
It all started with just the computer, and these knobs were actually like the controllers for like games on it to play tennis
Sure.
or racing cars.
Mhm.
These do like filters and that kind of thing.
This one too? What's that do?
Yeah, that one you have to turn on.
Hit the space
Yeah,
bar.
there's
You have to hit
there's
the space bar.
a key command for that. Actually, I think I know it. There it is.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. Fuzz, little fuzz there. Oh, that's great.
And then this part actually hooks up to an Atari.
Really?
And that
And what does that do?
you can do little beats and
Okay.
like an arpeggio.
Mhm.
So, like when I play this live, usually I loop it and
Yeah.
layer
it's
things
easier.
up,
Mhm.
or do sort of an ambient thing like just demonstrated with the delay.
Right.
That's like the Edgar Win. That sounds like the beginning of the Edgar Winter song. Yeah, that sounds great. That's rocking now.
Yeah, now you got like kind of like a
I
beat.
love it. That's great. Yeah, I love it.
Very
So that's
interesting.
the Commodore 64.
Yeah. Who would have thought?
But yeah, like I said, over time, it started to get its own little additions. There's still
got
things.
its
I
own
still have
person.
more ideas for it, but
I'm
every
sure.
time I open it, I'm nervous because the one thing you should know about circuit bending is that you don't want to start circuit bending something that you couldn't live without, because sometimes you cross the wrong circuits. And it'll-
Sizzle?
Yeah, you might get smoke or.
Have you had that happen?
There are several rules to circuit bending.
Okay, let's hear the rules, John.
I have them in a book somewhere, but I don't think I have it. But kick me if I stick is one. If you're
Kick me if I stick.
yeah, which is if you're getting electrocuted. But
Oh.
but one of the other rules is
Has that
is-
happened to you?
No. Maybe like a small shock, but
Okay.
one of the main rules is not to work with anything over 9 volts.
Okay.
However,
That's more than 9
well
volts.
over
Yeah.
9 volts.
You broke that rule.
Yeah, don't drink and solder is rule 11.
Don't drink and solder. No liquids in the
Yeah.
workroom.
But one of the things you want to keep in mind is that you don't want to open something that you couldn't live without. Like I have keyboards and things that I've wanted to circuit bend and I've kind of poked around with, but I oftentimes change my mind because there's always the chance it breaks.
And then you don't have a keyboard anymore.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and then it's pretty much
And you
useless.
have nothing. Right?
Yeah, I mean, I'll harvest parts off of them sometimes,
Right.
but pretty much once it's dead,
It's dead.
Yeah,
Right.
there's no going back.
Tell me about this. This is very interesting. I don't think we can plug it in, but just tell me
Right.
about your inspiration for this.
This is a stick I found in a river.
Where was the river?
St. Peter's Village, Pennsylvania. It's near Quarry. A lot of
Okay.
people go there to hang out by the river, jump on the rocks, whatever.
Okay.
So I found this in the river. It's like a really light, kind of dense stick.
Do we know what kind of wood it is?
I really don't.
No.
But it's a pretty nice stick. I snipped the end off, but for another project. But this has a piezo disc, which is often used in like alarms. They're used in guitars to make a electronic pickup in acoustic guitars. So this is just a homemade instrument, if you will, and it picks up like the kinetic energy when you hit it. And
Right.
you can run that through effects, or you can run it through a synthesizer and sort of get a little wave out of it or some kind of tone. But yeah, this is like a percussion instrument.
What would you say is the most unusual piece that you've worked on or that you've created? Would it be the Commodore 64?
Well, the Commodore 64 is pretty unusual, but I think that the circuit bend instruments are a little bit more unusual because you have no idea what it's going to turn out to be. And then when it's done, it's like a new instrument, and you basically have to relearn how to play it because you can sort of control them, but at the same time, they sort of control themselves.
Well, on that note, can we play a couple together, maybe?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
We can jam.
Okay.
Choose your weapon. You
tell
wanna
me
play
what I should
here.
use.
Why don't
Okay,
you-
I'll play this.
So these are the buttons to.
Okay, I
activate
love that because
those
it's very
and-
theremin-ish.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll throw a beat on.
Okay, throw a beat on.
Sure.
We're gonna make some crazy music here or something.
Let's see. Let's get a reggae beat. How's that sound?
Okay.
There we go. Slow it down a bit. I'll play the elephant.
Okay. I don't know what I'm doing, but go for it.
Go for it. You hold these in to use those. There you go. There you go, now you're rocking.
That sounds very good. I love it.
But it's
I love
fun,
it.
right?
I love it. It's very fun. Did he do anything?
Yeah, but you have to touch those and those
At the same time?
Yeah, sure. Actually,
Oh, okay.
here's a little a fun experiment. Put one hand on that.
Uh-oh. Am
Okay.
I going to blow up?
No. Touch that. Okay, give me the other hand.
Oh, that's pretty cool. That's
Yeah, so we
That's
can-
freaky.
You can do like.
I love it. That's great.
Turn that off. Speed it up.
You got it.
Well, Charlene and John Kelsey. Having a little crazy jam here.
There you go.
I like that the best. It's like screaming. I'm using my G-force. All right. This is Charlene Chamberlain and John Kelsey signing off for Front Row. Thanks for watching.